Yeah. I live in Surrey, so yeah, just probably like half an. I don't know if you know England at all, like in demographically, but like about half an hour away from central London, basically, like the more countryside part.
I do know one reference of Surrey, and it was recently, and I hope you don't take this personally. Do you know Lambrini Girls? The band
Yeah,
Lambrini. Okay,
yeah,
they have a song about Nepo babies, and there
right.
was some crack was like, "You're telling everyone you're working class from your five-bed house in Surrey," and I remember being like, "Ooh." Is it a nice place? Is it? I'm guessing it would be
Yeah.
a nicer, an older area of England.
So, this is, I guess, this is the thing with these kind of places. I've sort of born and bred here.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been on this earth quite a long time. 42 years now, and I've grown up obviously in the area. But as the area, as I guess as the world's changed and as the country's changed, like unfortunately for like most places, like you've had this class separation. Because we've had because we're so close to central London, what's happened over the years is a lot of people who will like obviously work in central London have like high powered jobs in finance and everything else,
Yeah.
suddenly realize that they could have the benefits of living in the countryside in quite nice houses but still maintain the benefit of working in London. So what it
Mm.
has done over years, it's drawn this big crowd of people from London into to what that really goes to say is Surrey. There are some very, very nice houses around here. I can't knock the place. And to be honest, I feel quite fortunate. I live in an area that's is regarded very safe, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, and we don't have a lot of many problems, but it has got that aspect that that line of the song has.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, and I'd be lying if I say if it didn't.
yeah. Mate, I was just cranking the new track Johatsu, um, which is just ooh, makes me all tingly. What inspired it, mate?
Okay, so we were very fortunate, like, to fulfill a major dream of the band last year to go to Japan
Mm,
and tour Japan, which I think as sort of like moments and landmarks as the band goes, that was a big thing. And while that process was happening of like preparing to do that tour, we were writing new music.
mm,
We've just finished probably what I'd say the album campaign for our last record, 5 Hours, and it's now obviously is the way music industry is. It's like you can't take your foot off the accelerator. It's constantly go, 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 and people are constantly wanting to be entertained. So
mm.
we were obviously now in a position of writing new music, and I guess we were looking at like subjects, and I think like one thing Polar's always had is quite like emotionally attached subjects that are maybe things that are personal to us but can be seen as a worldly thing, and the song came about obviously rediscovering a lot more of like the hardcore roots of the band, and as the lyricist and the person who obviously puts a lot of those ideas across, I guess it's not been the easiest of times, I guess, like maybe sort of within the band and as an outer perspective as well. The way the world is, it's a hard time to be alive.
Mm.
Um, you I was on doom scrolling on the internet as most people do, an easily done thing. And I guess obviously punching in the word Japan to everything, Instagram, Google, the algorithm's like, right, cool, you want to know about Japan, we're going to show
Yeah,
you everything. And this Yohitsu subject came up. I think just on a third party kind of reel that sort of kind of cruised past, and it caught my eye. First of all, it's a very cool word. I think like the word itself is quite like intriguing. You look at it and you're like, well, what does that mean? Like what's the reference behind it? And obviously, I read into like the whole idea that and it's since being in Japan, I've spoken to people there about it. That they have this service where your life kind of goes to ruins in many different ways, and you can call upon this service and pretty much like relocate yourself, like start again. They come in the middle of the night. They're called night movers. You pay a large amount of money, and what they do is they basically rearrange your life and start a new one for you, and they come and collect you, and that's it. You're gone. That's it. So like whatever you were the day before, you wake up somewhere new, and you are literally started again, and that actually exists, and it can go to quite extremes, like even to the point of like plastic surgery, reconstructive surgery, and it happens in Japan, but it is just not spoken about. It's like one of these kind of like underlining things that goes on in their like society, but never really sort of raised or spoken about.
That is, God, they're a fascinating culture.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
what I remember. I've spoken to a lot of people about Japan over the years, and one thing that always has just struck me in everything they do is it's extreme. Like they take cuteness to the extreme. They take efficiency to the extreme. Like they're if it
yeah.
wasn't for the negative word connotations of the word extremist, it would be a perfect way to describe Japanese culture.
It,
It's just
it is. Yeah.
they go hard. That's amazing. So you can just
Um,
disappear overnight professionally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like people like they do it like like I guess a good point of subject for maybe just for this conversation is like if you were to own a business, that business somehow like ended up being like in some sort of fraudulent activity financially, and you've brought shame on your business. Well, you literally could be like, well, I no longer can exist in the world that I've damaged. So you make these arrangements with this company, and they will literally, yeah, yeah, come and sweep you up, put you somewhere else, and you go to exist.
Oh,
There is. There is actually a place they send you to, and I can't remember the name of it. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't even been able to pronounce it. But like, yeah, there's a particular place that a lot of these people that have, so to speak, been night moved end up, and new names, new records. A lot you are literally erased. And I guess being some, like I wouldn't say like. I suffered like massive amounts of depression all the time, but I think as a human, and I think as many people do, you have your highs and your lows, and maybe like a very depressive low period was happening at that particular time, and that caught my eye. Like the idea that life could just cease and
mm.
stop, and then you start afresh. No preconceptive thoughts about you. Everyone you meet is new. Everything you do is new. Like that really kind of triggered my brain, and I thought that's a very and I could relate to it. I'm sure lots of other people could relate to it. I'm sure there's probably people out there that don't even know about this thing.
Mm.
This is quite unique in itself. So I thought it'd be a very popular subject to put into a context of a song.
Plus, hey, you're a metalcore band that managed to get to the word JōHATSU before Alpha Wolf got it, because you know how much I
Yeah.
love Japanese culture.
I know those guys, and like, yeah, no, like, I think with the Japanese culture, I think it is just a race, and whoever can get to that, like, whoever gets to the finish line first, gets the trophy. But yeah, no, knowing my luck or the band's luck, we'll release it, and there'll be another band like around the corner who've just had the same idea.
Well, and it's funny because it's not the only thing you're kind of competing with Australian metalcore, because you obviously your name, if you type in Polar into anything, the first thing that comes up is Polaris. You know what? You should tour together to save Googling.
We we did a show in London together, in 2019, just before the pandemic. We played a festival together, where like the stature then and the size they are now, and which is completely deserved. But
Hmm.
I mean, I think whatever promoter got to that, like I think it was just polar is polar, really, isn't it? Like, like
And
so,
the
like,
postcard, it's so easy.
it is. And we've been mistaken for them in interviews that when their early days, I think they got mistaken. There's been
Yeah.
the crosswire.
Mate, I was just listening to your first, what I believe is your first, this Polar Noise EP. And man, obviously, so that was 2009, right?
Was, yeah.
I didn't realize too. You're actually 2 years older than me, which is a shame. I thought you were younger than me, but yeah. So that's interesting because metalcore didn't get me at the start. The fashion I found was held me back a bit from properly appreciating. When Ground Zero, we're talking 05, 06, when this first started happening, the band
Yeah,
names became sentences, the jeans shrunk incredibly. Now, as a child of new metal, as you can
yeah,
see,
yeah. Great.
I didn't get it at the time, but fucking metalcore, it tricked me. You know how it tricked me? 2022, I was sitting, doing as I like, oh, metalcore, it's rubbish. That's what I do. And
Yeah,
randomly came across a track by a Australian band called Thornhill. It was their album from 22. And I listened to this and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then I heard bands like Alpha Wolf and things like that. And I was like, hang on, this is metalcore? Because obviously now they're tuning lower and they've got
yeah.
that sugar thing going on. And now I'm like, yes. So now I'm metalcore. Metalcore has snuck up on me.
It's. I mean, if we're going to talk metalcore, I think Australia it leads the way at the moment. The strength of band that comes out of Australia, I've had the pleasure of playing a lot of tours with a lot of Australian bands over the years, and yeah, they set the bar, like we've actually I think we've toured with more Australian bands than I mean personally I've been in the band for the longest and we've had some shifts and some changes, but I've toured with Tonight Alive, Make Them Suffer, who else have we done, Partway Drive,
Yeah.
yeah, there's probably more in this, like, oh, Alpha Wolf, so yeah, like if the embodiment of metalcore, I think, is the flag is being flown by Australia at the moment. I
Well,
feel
it's
honest.
interesting that you say that because it was for a while there. We had a really bad run of all these live events and festivals just crashing and burning because they just couldn't afford to stay open. But the one thing, the one genre of music that has not only endured but thrived is heavy music of all its various incarnations. All of our metal
Yeah,
festivals are alive and well, whereas everything else was suffering. So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah.
it's. I think it's come at. I'd probably say it's at like metalcore's peaked or it's peaking
Mm,
right now. And I think the healthy level of competition amongst metalcore acts is. And I think the healthy competition between like definitely like Australian metalcore actually, like people
mm,
are bad. The metalcore scene in Australia, the bands are pushing boundaries. Bands like North Lane, Thornhill.
mm,
Like there's so much like friendly competition. But what I like about the Australian scene, I guess, is that there's a real camaraderie. Like every band like in those sort of metalcore scenes all seems to be very friendly. I don't feel that much the same in the UK. I don't feel
mm.
that the UK has that. Uh, it's something I'm a bit envious of, if I'm honest. Like it's nice. It's good to see. It's healthy.
Were you a scene kid back in the day? Did you
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
you had the
Yeah,
hair?
I had the fringe. I had the bleach. It was partly bleached over one eye. I had big flesh tunnels in my ears. I did it all. Get the checklist out. I was there. The jeans got tighter. The Vans were just a constant shoe. I think that's like I kind of like it was for me like I lived in a metalcore world and a hardcore world,
Mm,
uh like and I guess they both had sort of different fashions, and I kind of like tried to pivot in the middle. Whether it worked or not, who knew? But like like I tried to like the hardcore scene, they were kind of wearing like windbreakers, but like the
oh, they
metalcore
love
scene,
a windbreaker. Oh,
yeah, yeah, that's it. That's part of the uniform.
well,
But the
it's
metalcore
all
scene had the
it's all the
fringes.
cartwheeling and stuff. It creates wind and it
Yeah,
makes
it
you
does.
fall.
Those stormy
It's
environments.
all those propellers,
But
mate.
yeah, I think. I'd be lying if I did, like the fashion crazes, and I think that is being part of like being kind of used to being part of a scene, like growing
Yeah,
into a
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
And for me now, I'm a bit more, I'm a lot older. I like my clothes comfortable. Like, so, look, like, and I try and stay pretty current, I guess, in my clothing line. But it's not. I'm definitely not like following trends. But to play gigs, you still see it. Like you kind of say, all right, well, this you see someone turn up in something, you're like, well, that's the fashion then.
Uh,
Let's another like 100 kids turn up wearing the same thing, and that's been just like, and the cycles of it have just been going around and around. Like I feel that we're in like some sort of like, there's like metalcore and there's like a like new school kind of grunge style out. So that
hmm.
whole like the Nirvana look, like that early like 90s look, that's just like jumped back in, Turnstile are pushing that boundary as well. Like, and suddenly everyone's like wearing clothes, and I'm like, if only I knew, I would have kept half of that
I
shit
know,
when I was
right?
younger. And literally, I'd be so fashionable right now, or vintage rich. But like,
Yeah.
so it was just could not tell the future on that one.
Buy stocks and denim, mate. New metal's coming back, and I can only see JNCOs are just the jeans are
Yeah.
just going to get baggier and baggier. There's going to be a denim shortage. Get ahead of it, I promise. Woody, this has been rad, man. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Hey, do you reckon you're going to come to Australia sometime soon?
We've always like toyed with it. It's something I'd definitely love to do. The band, I think we would do well, and like we've built some really good friendships with a lot of people from other bands in Australia, and it just feels like it's a definite like big bucket list. And I guess now, with us being able to push into the Asian market a bit more, we've done Japan for the first time, and sort of having opened those doors with the ability to be that part of the world. I think now the maybe the reality of being able to do Australia is actually like a bit more of a dream that we could probably chase, opposed to something that's a bit far fetched.
Oh, really? No, well, congratulations on Johatsu, and yeah, man, I hope
Thank
you
you very
get
much.
to come down here soon. Hopefully you won't be committing Johatsu yourself, and
No, no,
you won't
no,
be
no.
like, fuck, Paula just lost $60,000 on a tour. Ring ring, get
Yeah.
me out.
And he's off. Yeah, no, but no, thank you for your kind words, and thank you for listening to it. Like, I really appreciate it.
No worries, my dude. Be good to yourself.
Yeah.
Talk to you
Take
soon.
care. Nice speaking.